How? That they must be slaughtered. Is that a doctrine of terror? If that is not a doctrine of terror, then what is it? As long as Islam holds on to it, as long as it is preached and proclaimed in their mosques, in the Quranic schools, in the madrasas, in Islamic seminaries, and books and volumes of it is written there. Islamic radio stations, satellite TVs and so on keep on churning that propaganda. Then they are fighting for the cause of Allah, raising the banner of jihad. Terrorism cannot be fought simply by might. So we may kill few, we may arrest others, but the whole logistics and the infrastructure and the operation and mentally people are being prepared, indoctrinated in this concept of jihad. It's a rather big one. I think it needs particularly a Christian input in how to combat this problem. This problem is not going to go away because we send cruise missiles or F-111s or the might of America. This is very important. Yes, we are fighting it. They are providing a shield. They are now almost as a buffer zone for us. But if we just stop there, if we stopped at the might of America just militarily, then it's only a matter of time, and they would be back.
As you discuss citing so many of these passages for your point that terror is intrinsic to Quranic teaching, the contrast can't help but appearing with greater clarity when Jesus is walking with James and John through a Samaritan village, and the Samaritans didn't receive the gospel that they brought, and James and John, the sons of thunder, wanted to call fire down from heaven. Lord, do you want us to destroy this village? Because they didn't submit. They didn't accept the message that was preached. And all we read is Jesus rebuked them, and they went to another village. Muhammad wouldn't rebuke his disciples, would he?
I think I have a verse for you. It is in Surah 8, verse 65. Ya ayyuhan nabi, harrid al-mu'minina ala al-qital. O Apostle of Allah, O Prophet of Allah, entice the believers to rise and kill for the cause of Allah. I think that is your answer. And because it has its root in some spirituality, no matter how alien, demonic, sinister it may be, it is an ideology. It has to do with spiritualities. And therefore, it is not a reason, it's not the liberals, it is not the secularists, it is not even the military might. But it can only be undone through the proclamation of the gospel. You see, the problem here is before a man blows himself up, to reach that stage he is indoctrinated. Who does that indoctrination? It is the Islamic leadership. It is those radical cells. It is, what are they part of? They are part of the mosque. They are madrasas. They are Islamic seminaries. All these are infrastructure of what the enemy has for us. And therefore we must be vigilant.
Let's turn then, Sam, if we might, to witness to Muslims, because it sounds very much like we are in a situation now where we don't have to go to Istanbul. We don't have to go to Damascus in order to witness to Muslims. I wonder if you might, first of all, set it up by relating to us these fantastic, and I mean that in the negative sense, statistics about Muslim missions to the United States in particular.
Well, Islamic missions have targeted the United States both religiously and politically. And because it is a whole system, and it has been working since from very early times, you see. And today, as I said, in every state there is an Islamic mission. In fact, Jamaat Tabligh, an Islamic organization which is based in Pakistan, but funded largely by the Wahhabis, by the Saudis and other Islamic setups, they alone, only one Islamic organization, has got 50,000 Muslim missionaries in the United States of America. 1,000 in New York alone. And
that's just one group.
And that is only one group, one mission. If you were to put them all together, that is a huge number. That is a huge number. We don't have a fraction of that number. Anywhere in the Islamic world, we don't have that fraction of that number working among Muslims or ministering, preaching the gospel in this country. Of course, Islamic missions, as I said, isn't just religious. What Islam does in terms of its mission comes under the title jihad. And by the way, the concept that jihad is personal, fighting a personal battle, improving one's soul, this is based on an extremely weak hadith, a sayings of Muhammad. And it is most unreliable, occurred only once. No scholarly manuals has got that definition. The four schools of Islam, the Sunni Islam, and their definition means jihad means killing the apostate, conquering his territory, and subjugating him to the rule of Islam. No Islamic scholar can dispute that. In fact, it is indisputable. So in that concept, when Islamic mission starts out in any country, it starts out first with an Islamic missions. Missions meaning the call of Islam. That is the first step on the ladder of jihad. They call people to, and this is what Muhammad did. He sent out his envoys to the surrounding kingdoms and said, submit to Islam or else. They did not submit to Islam, so these hordes of assassins and the conquest came in. Islamic conquest, Muslims all the time talk about crusaders. But if the crusaders did wrong, they have apologized, they've said sorry, they've repented, they've made it up. I've yet to see one imam, one Islamic authority say and denounce the conquests. It is not there. However, coming back to the topic, the jihad issue and the witnessing. Islam does not witness just religiously. It doesn't just build mosques or Islamic schools. It builds in businesses. Finance is a major part of an Islamic jihad. To infiltrate, to weaken, and to take over. So, for instance, Dow Jones have launched Dow Jones Islamic Index. And there are trillions of dollars. But it is not promoted in the United States. It is promoted outside the United States. There is Islamic banking coming to the United States. There are over 29 banks are operating today in the United States, offering Islamic mortgage, Islamic banking, Islamic insurance, all of it. In England, HSBC, one of the most international banks, is offering today an Islamic banking and so on. The four banks in England, you see the merger, the big boys, are geared towards Islamic banking. The Chancellor of Exchequer in Britain have made all the tax laws and the banking laws compliant now to the Sharia. And it is very much moving towards in Europe because it is part of religion, you see, and various other aspects of it. Marriage, intermarriages. Muslims and Islamic law prohibits a Muslim woman marrying a non-Muslim man. But Muslims are allowed to marry Jews, Jewesses, and Christians. So that multiplication goes on. So Islamic mission, when we come to talk about it, it is not just that of conversion, but biological, through marriage, through trade, and through conquest.
It's remarkable. One of the great memories, of course, many Americans have of the events in the aftermath of September 11th, 2001, is of Yankee Stadium being filled with people for a prayer service in which Protestant and Catholic leaders, one after the other, liberal and conservative, got up and didn't mention Christ in their prayers. But the Muslim imam said 3 times, there is one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Is there more courage for witnessing among Muslims than there seems to be among Christians?
Well, Muhammad said, وَجُعِلَ لِلْأَرْضَ مَسْجِدًا وَجُعِلَ لِلْأَرْضَ مَسْجِدًا. The earth has been declared unto me a mosque. The whole earth has been declared unto me a mosque. Therefore, the Muslims have the right legitimately from the Islamic jurisprudence to pray anywhere, in any spot, as long as it is ceremonially clean, in any park, even in a traffic island. And that is their claim on the whole world. That is why the whole world must subjugate and must be subjected to Islamic authority. And it isn't a matter of witnessing. I think there are 2 things I would like to pick up from that incident that you just related. That was, on the Islamic part, a PR situation, inconsistent with the Quran in this format, that Muslims are not allowed to pray over a kafir, an unbeliever. Nobody can go to their funerals and pray for the dead or the deceased in this case. Why? Because it is forbidden. It is as per Surah 9 verse 84, وَلَا تُصَلِّ عَلَى أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ مَاتَ أَبَدًا وَلَا تَقِمْ عَلَى قَبْرِهِ إِنَّهُمْ كَفَرُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَمَاتُوا وَهُمْ فَاسِقُونَ.